Maybe my internet went out for a second, so sorry about that. So
But somebody's paid for technology and able to connect across the miles.
yeah, I'm actually getting a bit of a feedback. It might be that I need to get earphones or something. That might be the problem.
Separate tribute. Maybe
Yeah.
they're tripping or something, but they really just see internet.
It's like we're talking in outer space or something.
Maybe, well, you like after midnight show.
This is definitely psychedelic. So I think what we're going to have to do is maybe just make sure that we talk really slow and clear so we can understand each other. Robbie Jeanette actually is the writer of the theme song for Hollywood Hemptress Hour, which I've been using for the past couple years now, and I just really want to thank you for doing it.
Well, I tell you, ever since I wrote that theme song, I have been in a creative mode I can't even describe. It just unlocked something in me, being able to create such a fun little piece for you. I do a lot of funky stuff and boogie woogie and ragtime stuff. As a piano player, a guy who likes to explore a lot of different styles. So, doing that little funky walking blues for you is right up my alley. I kind of started in the blues, but I think music is a journey, and when you're on it as an instrumentalist, you sometimes don't know where it's going to take you.
It's great to hear you talk about your creativity. Now, my thought is, and I don't know about you, but do you feel that cannabis kind of like opens any windows for you or inspires you in the creative department?
I tell you, it's amazing the difference that it makes. I think on a perception level, as a listener, I can remember being in college age, listening to a Grateful Dead record for the first time, having smoked some cannabis, and just my whole perception as a listener. Part of the record sounded like it was playing the next room. One of the drum cymbal hits it sounded like it was right in front of my face. I mean, it really warped my perception as a listener. And once the high wears off, the perception remains. So by unlocking kind of a different level of listening to and feeling the music, it enables you to start to move through life and accept and integrate with music as a listener, a performer, a student, on all different levels in a more meaningful way. Even if you just smoked it once and had that experience and never did again, it would still have unlocked something. And I think that's one of the things that it does on a spiritual level, is just kind of unlocks something within us. And that's not a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing either. It's interesting that they call it the demon weed, which when I find like when I use it, I feel that it really does spiritually open me up. And I feel that, a lot of people don't want to really identify with the spiritual aspect of what cannabis can do for you
Well,
because we've been so conditioned to believe otherwise.
I suppose it would if you were in a religious dogma that was very ideological and very strict and very unyielding and unflexible and unbending to the to reality. Something that kind of broke those walls down would be jarring, but ultimately I think is good because life is a flexible buffet, and we got to roll with it. It's one of the things. I'm a wave rider. I bodyboard, and being in the waves and feeling the energy that's traveled across thousands of miles of ocean and come and kind of connect with it and be part of a larger energy, if you will. All that kind of feeling you take out of the water with you and bring back with you. And cannabis is the same way, You learn to be flexible and you learn to ride, and sometimes you get body slammed, and sometimes it's the most beautiful experience, but it's life, and it's all good. And rigorous ideologies don't really last. guess reality has a way of just flexing them until they break, you know?
Yeah. It's I love how you compared water to smoking cannabis or the effects that it has on you.
Yeah.
I've been learning a lot about water, that it's a natural conduit to energy and thought, and they're finding that. Which I found was interesting, that there's parts of the world where the water crosses each other like a cross, and apparently that's really strong power point for actual manifestation. I know it sounds strange, but again, there's those photos of how thought will make a water crystallize in a certain way,
Well,
and
let me throw a thought at you, and it's something that I've kind of come to as lately. I've been riding waves and been in the ocean my whole life. And anybody listening out there in internet land, this may flip your noodle. All right, so our bodies are made up of 60%, maybe a little more of water. Our brains even more, maybe 70, a little more percent water. So when you ride a wave, when you're body surfing or riding, on a board, and you're riding this wave, this water that's moving with this energy, all the molecules of your body are moving in tandem with the water of the wave. So you're not riding on the wave, you are the wave. And when you think about the effects of energy, like you were talking about on water molecules, and the fact that we are water molecules, that act of riding a wave that is in motion, it's part of an energy that started, maybe at a storm way down off of New Zealand or up off Antarctica, depending on the time of year. That energy's traveled a long way, kind of regulated itself into sets, and it's immolating on the shore. And I think immolating actually means burning on fire, and that would be a terrible thing for a wave to do. But breaking, and you're part of that energy. On a molecular level, it's pretty powerful. When you realize that, you have that thought in your head, then you paddle out. It changes the equation, because you are the wave. Something to ponder in the late night, my dear.
Absolutely, especially when you smoke some bud. I mean, I really love. I find that I get into conversations like these in the wee hours of the morning when I am smoking weed, because it opens that kind of thought for me,
Yeah.
anyways. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, first of all, let's talk about some of the bands. We have about 2 minutes before we go to break here in a
Okay.
second for our first break, but I just want to give you some. What are some of the bands that you have created, or some of the band? What bands are you involved in? I know
Oh,
you've
well,
given.
my main band is a band called Rudy, Rudy. Been around since the mid '90s in Florida, where I kind of came from. I live in California now, and we're actually about to do some shows down in Southeast in December, Atlanta, and down in South Florida. So that's pretty cool. It's a real funky, super funky, porno funking booty rock kind of band. And I'm working on a record of my own right now, which is kind of a funky piano trio record that I hope will be something that'll catch fire out there, get viral.
Well,
We do have a really funny video coming for a Rudy song called "She's in Love" that I think people are gonna really, I don't know, open their eyes to. It's gonna be fun.
oh yeah, that's definitely in our queue to be playing this entire one of the shows this week. Actually, Robbie is going to be my co-host for the whole week. And this is
Yeah.
something that I want to bring to the show, is to have rotating co-hosts, maybe bring some people back as regulars, and be part of it. One of my visions for this show, I mean, I'm just going to share, is that I
Yeah.
want to bring in other artists into it. So this is, so we listen to some really cool music, and we, get in the groove of, how, cannabis, also affects artists and how they really feel about it. Because it's kind of like, I feel sort of like, remember like when Hollywood was like, it was like gay and nobody could be
Yeah.
gay and everybody was in the closet. I mean, I actually took care of an elderly woman who was part of Gay Hollywood. And
Really?
yeah, and so and then now, like right before she passed away, gay marriage finally made it in California, and she was Mormon from Utah. So,
Wow.
and it's kind of like it's sort of like cannabis is the same way. I mean, if you come out with it, talk about it, you feel that you're not going to get the right kind of work, you're not going to get what you want, and going to be discriminated against, like Disney and these different. I mean, I know actors, friends of mine that say I can't be on your show because I still want to work for Disney, and this is
Well,
a
it's
fact.
hard. There is a stigma, but it's going to at some point break via social norms. Science is going to free a lot of the, really the lies that have been in place with where marijuana is scheduled, how enforcement's been. And a lot of other countries are showing us different models, and some of the states here, it's really interesting to see this process happen. Um, and it will be funny to miss the days of having to use code words and sneak around.
Right. Well, I mean, we should what are some of the code words that you've always done?
Well, actually, when back in Florida, we used to call a doobie a dog leg, and you just say, "Hey, did you see a three-legged dog run around the corner?" That would be the code word to go find that dog leg that was missing.
Wow, that's clever. I had taco sauce.
Taco
Yeah.
sauce.
Hey, I had a friend that would text me and go, "I've got some taco sauce. Do you know anybody that needs any taco sauce?" I mean, that's
Right,
yeah.
who doesn't need some taco sauce now and then, right?
Right. Everybody needs a little taco sauce to spice things up. So,
Especially a three-legged
all
dog.
right. Well, it's time to take a break at the moment. We'll be right. And you know what? Thank you for listening out there. We're gonna be right back with Kevin, from who's gonna be on coming on the show really soon. Kevin Elliott with Teenage Exorcist will be coming on after the break.
Cool.
So.
I'm not a doctor, but I've seen one on TV. And no one is immune from everyday aches and pains. But what about the times you've caused the pain yourself? You've hit your thumb with a hammer. You've stepped on a rake. You've slammed your head in the car door. Again. Now, for the extra pain caused by doing something incredibly stupid, there's new Imbisol. Only Imbisol provides fast relief from the special pain of being a mindless clod. Imbisol, because it hurts to be a jerk. Also try Imbisol Jr.
President George Bush, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Many famous Americans,
Vice President
including
Obama.
prominent conservatives, have
Author
used
William
marijuana. None were arrested, and all have lived successful lives.
President Bill Clinton, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is it fair to arrest
Mayor Michael
3/4 million people a
Governor
year
George Bush.
for doing what presidents and a Supreme Court justice have done?
Visit the Marijuana Policy Project Foundation, www.joinmpp.org, or call toll-free 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Break, another sign that the boomers are ruling this country. Barack Obama said this week that he's tried drugs and it barely got a mention in the newspapers. But remember the uproar that caused Douglas Ginsburg his Supreme Court nomination over the disclosure that he smoked marijuana. And this from 1992.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana at Tennessee, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
I'm sorry, you can't. By 2000, Democrats were falling all over you.
Hello?
Buying pot.
Hey.
To admit having used marijuana in the past. And they want us to go around and ask each of you. Senator Kerry, yes or no? Yes. Okay. Senator Edwards?
Yes.
Senator Lieber? I have a reputation for giving unpopular answers at Democratic debates. I never use marijuana. Sorry.
Look, when I was a kid, I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
So what was that cameraman on?
He was inhaling.
Howard, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's an accepted part of the culture now, and I think for one of the reasons why Barack Obama is so popular, especially among younger people, is that he seems so real. He seems to acknowledge the reality of things. It's kind of almost like a dog whistle kind of thing. Older people can't hear it, younger people hear it. And that's one of the things that they hear. He seems to be willing to be honest, straight from the shoulder.
Is that like Ralph Nader always being for industrial hemp? Yeah, that must be a dog whistle because I don't hear it.
There's nothing to say once you've said, yes, I inhaled. Then what? Nothing. The thing people can't stand is the lie.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
That was a little bit of a musical interlude from Robbie Jeanette, who also, I love it. You know, this is the first time those have actually been played on any show. It's been difficult for me to get these interludes to go on the other things. I just think they're so beautiful, and it really shows your amazing skill, and they're original too. So I just love it. You are listening to Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. So thank you for listening. Right now I have singer-songwriter Robbie Jeanette with the band Rudy, and also G Nuts, right? G Nuts, GNUTZ.
MCG Nuts. Yeah, well, when I moved out to California, you know, I didn't have Rudy like to play with all the time, and that side of my brain was still spinning, and so I started making beats and doing stuff under the name MCG Nuts, and it all kind of came back together. Our last Rudy record, it's, you know, Robbie G Nuts Jeanette, so I guess it all kind of dovetailed. But my last name is Jeanette, so G Nuts just became a nickname, and good name to do beats under, because dropping booty shaking beats is not a easy thing for some people, but I like to do it.
That little giggle that you heard is from our next guest who's coming up here in a moment. Actually, I met this person, Kevin Elliott, at a Joe Grumbine, fundraiser. Joe Grumbine is a medical marijuana. He was a dispensary owner. He had a collective, and he had a big, huge court case over they wanted to arrest him and find him illegal for actually just giving medical marijuana to people or making it available to them. And so it was his ranch, and he had this, huge, ranch out there that he owned, and we all met and played. And so Kevin is in a band called Teenage Exorcists. And that day, his band played the best Beatles music I'd ever heard. It was so tight. And not only did they just play the hippy dippy trippy one, but guys actually came out and played some really good early Beatles, and kind of things that weren't in your normal repertoire either. It was kind of like the kind of Beatles that you hear at Breakfast with Beatles, like the side B covers, or the things that might be a little bit more obscure. And so we really hit it off there, and we smoked some really good weed, and we had some really good conversations. And Kevin and I have stayed in touch through Facebook, and literally 2 days ago he posted, there was something that I was tagged in, and it said, if your picture is in this video, then you're in it, and our world would suck without you. And I looked at the video, and I'm just so impressed with it. I'm in one of those frames, but it's kind of like looking for the penis frame in Fight Club. You know what I mean? It's like, right. It's like I think it was there. I saw her subliminally. I think I finally did figure out what the frame is, but it's just so well done, and it's already got, I think, close to 500 views now, and it's only been 24 hours practically. So Kevin Elliott, I want to introduce Kevin Elliott to the show. Thank you for being on Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Right on. Can you feel me? So tell me a little bit about, how you put that video together and why.
Oh man, that video is just sort of I don't know, I was told I needed to come up with something for a video, and I just had no clue what to do. And it was sort of like just the biggest non-idea of all time. I just had this iPhoto thing on my computer, and I had a bunch of pictures because I'm always taking pictures, like way too many. And yeah, I don't know. I was just like hitting this arrow through it and just scrolling through it one day when I was like stoned. And
So you were stoned. So let's bring this back to this. So cannabis played a part in you creating this really awesome video, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was high the whole time.
Oh yeah.
And you know, that's kind of like what we do. We hang out, and you know, we're just hanging out, getting high or whatever, and just partying, whatever it is we do. And I'm always snapping pictures, trying to get like the perfect one, thinking I'll get some outrageously good shot. You know, that was always the goal.
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, I just started an Instagram like a week ago. Actually, I never did it. I'm more of a Facebook guy.
Me too. I mean,
I'm
not guy.
trying to all this stuff because I figure there's different angles, not just for like exposure for my band or whatever, but just for connecting with people. Because I got friends that only use Instagram and they don't do Facebook because they have something against it or whatever, you know.
So we have Robbie Jeanette with us, who's co-hosting with me, who's also, you know, an amazing musician, singer, songwriter, and we've known each other since what, like 2001 or something like that.
Yeah, something way back then.
Yeah. Yeah. We met at the Ice House Comedy Club with Bobby Gaylor, and you know, yeah, that's how long but. So
awesome.
And you've played with some. You've also stood in with other, you know, pretty famous bands. What bands have you been a part of, Robbie?
Well, I've done like a wide variety actually. Seven Mary 3, Everclear, Nick Lachey, Lisa Marie Presley, MC5. I played with
MC5.
I played with Wayne Kramer of the MC5 just for a little bit. His solo stuff is really cool. We did do Kick Out the Jams, and I got to play guitar, and hopefully it went all right. It was a blur, but his solo stuff is really cool because it's kind of spoken word and avant-garde piano, and I was actually pleased to find a D right there. So yeah, good times though. You know, playing with a lot of diverse artists. Every different gig brings different challenges, different audiences, different travels. You know, it's pretty cool. I like to do that and experience life on the road in beautiful places and not so beautiful places. There's always something interesting going on.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, in terms of like, I mean, like I'm gonna ask it, Kevin. I want to ask Robbie a question. Is when you're on the road, where's the best place that had the best weed that you smoked it in? Like, is there a region that's better?
The thing about the road is, if you're on the road in the States, then you have to be very aware of things like you're going to go through Texas, or you know, there's a lot of stories that, you know, I wouldn't tell just to not implicate other people, but you know, I've seen busts go down, and I've seen crazy amounts of weed on tour buses, and you know, I've been on tours where I was told, you know, I don't even want to smell it on anybody on this bus, and I've been on buses where everybody had like, you know, a good sack and a bubbler and a little pouch, and you know, sessions. But you know, certainly there's always usually somebody, you know, on the road, whether it's in the crew or you know, a bandmate, some compadre that might say, hey, I got a little something, why don't you come over here, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, I find when I like lately, because like my act now, you know, I've got like about a 20-minute chunk about, you know, marijuana and about how I was in a DEA raid, and all that whole experience has now become a part of my comedy routine. And people just give me weed. I mean, it's so great. I love it. You know, I have gifts coming from everywhere, and you know, and they seem to want me to smoke their homegrown stuff. Like, hey, try my stuff. It's kind of, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, you know, when we make our own wines, we make our own, you know, beer. We're kind of like connoisseurs to good stuff. And
yeah, you gotta be proud. You know, if you grew apples or something, you'd want people to taste your apple. Hey, check it out! I grew this. It's delicious. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Organic is best, right?
Well, you can do it's great, you know.
Now, Kevin, has your band gone on the road yet? Has Teenage Exorcist gone on the road yet?
No, no, we haven't. We've been on the road a few times. Like I said, we've been friends and been in bands together for a long time. I went on the road with the bass player in my band. We went out to Bonnaroo to go see Radiohead last summer. So that's the closest thing we've. I've been on the road with some of those guys, but we haven't. We played our first show on the 2nd. Actually, we haven't even played a show.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, we're just really brand new, you know. We just started out, so I mean, it's really cool to be on here with you guys.
Oh my God, you guys! I mean, really, you sound so good. I mean, I really think that the tune that you just made and put up on, you made the video out of, it's catchy. I mean, it's stuck in my head.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, I was like humming it, and I'm like, okay, I'm humming this, and so. I really like it. And you know what? We are going to listen. We're going to, like, tonight, within the 2 hours, we're going to listen to a song from Kevin, and also a song from Robbie Jeanette from the band Rudy. We're going to both get samples of both of these guys' songs, and of course, Robbie's going to be, you're going to hear him all week, which I'm excited about. But Kevin, you have a song. We'll do this after the second break. The song's called Bomb. Why the name Bomb?
Oh man, I hear everybody saying that all the time, and I say that myself. It just seems like something. Maybe it's a California thing or whatever, but it's always kind of like, that shit was bomb or whatever. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of a cool phrase, and then that kind of led me to putting the phrase "you're the bomb," which is totally 90s. It's not even really
Yeah.
relevant now.
Oh my God, you're the bomb. Remember that?
It's like that's
Would that be ironic if somebody was a suicide bomber?
Jesus Christ. I think it just made it a little bit more relevant, nowadays.
And so Teenage Exorcists you guys are fairly new in forming Teenage Exorcists, but you've been playing
It's
much.
extremely new, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been working on this for about a year, I guess. But we thought of the name about 3 weeks ago. The record we did in September. It's a lot of planning, a lot of conceptualizing this or that, but really it being a real thing, probably less than 2 weeks.
Wow, that's something else. And so, but you guys were like kind of playing, but you've been together, like you said, like for like 10 years playing around together.
Yeah, like it's been evolving. It's only been Teenage Exorcist for 2 weeks. I was like,
wow.
I heard about these wackos on, I think it might have been the Huffington Post or something, or one of the Death and Taxes or something. They're these wacko girls that are calling themselves that, and I just thought that's it. That's what I want to be called. I'm gonna steal it from them. I mean, they're the real Teenage Exorcists, but we're calling the band that. We're not actually exorcists because we're not wackos.
Right. But I mean, it does definitely has an interesting ring to it. It kind of reminds me of how Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's weird. I mean, Robbie, how did you get how did names come to you?
Well, with the band name Rudy, which my best friend since we were like 11, it's our band together, and every time we did an interview, we'd always make up a different story about where the name came from, and eventually we kind of forgot what the original reason was for why we came up with Rudy. So I could give you a list of definitions, but I can't give you the actual one because we really don't know anymore.
That's cool. So Kevin, did any lyrics come to you while smoking weed in this song?
What's interesting is I wrote all this music while not smoking weed, which is, I know, kind of a strange thing. For the last, I don't know how long, I haven't been able to write anything unless I was stoned. However, for some reason, I just wasn't smoking any weed at the time. I was taking a break. I thought it was ruining my voice.
I say that sometimes it heightens your creativity, and sometimes I don't think you need it. George, yeah. George Carlin used to always say that he would write without smoking it, and he'd finish a joke, and then he would smoke weed to punch it up. So,
yeah, sure.
And maybe there's something with like working with your brain in some way, and then working with your brain a little altered, and however, I find when I smoke, that a lot of times if I need to be super super precise, then I should probably not get too high. But if I, end up needing to, like if I want to just talk and expand and kind of let things come through me, I can even have a really good stand-up set by smoking a certain amount of marijuana, not too much. It's got to be like a certain level where you're almost on the decline of the high. And then you're in that pocket where you're just kind of going, woo, I'm a little bit freer than I normally would be.
Yeah, when you're gonna perform as a band. Smoking a doobie and jamming is cool and stuff like that. But if you're gonna go do a show
Yeah.
and perform for people, and you really want to be on your game, like Evan said, as a vocalist, especially if you're the lead vocalist in the band, I don't smoke before gigs at all because I really want to be on for the show. There's a time, and before the show is a time to end it up.
Yeah, and again, I think that has a lot to do with like there's a time for it and a time not for it. But there's always time for hemp, though. I'm sorry. Okay, that. So, yeah. I find that sometimes it's good to take a break or not be like I'm not a person who is really high all the time. And then because of the fact that
Terry, come on.
no, seriously, I'm not.
No, I know.
But I think sometimes like if you do come out and say that you are, then then that's the impression that I think some people do, and I believe that there's a negative perception to that. Do you guys feel that way at all?
Well, I just find if I don't want people to notice I'm high, I take my pants off, and then they just don't look up. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. You don't want to be self-conscious or go places like I don't need to smoke out and go to the supermarket. That's
Oh God.
That's the worst. Or go stand in line at the bank. Why would you want to do that?
I stayed in the parking lot and just sat there until it wore off. It was like, I can't go in here. I can't do this. Crazy.
Yeah, people think of. See, I think part of what Terry was mentioning earlier, there's a stigma to the old idea of the Spicoli stoner that will never amount to anything or do anything in life, whatever. But there's actually a huge amount of very productive people who are, some of the top, thinkers, entertainers. Carl Sagan, Louis Armstrong. Come on. So we have some great, great people who have been highly functioning stoners, whether they smoked a little or smoked a lot. Louis Armstrong was known for it, and
Steve Jobs.
I don't know if Carl Sagan was only a nighttime kind of thing. The moon and the stars come out, and whoa.
All right, we're taking a break. We'll be right back.
Another sign that the boomers are ruling this country. Barack Obama said this week that he's tried drugs and it barely got a mention in the newspapers. But remember the uproar that cost Douglas Ginsburg his Supreme Court nomination over the disclosure that he smoked marijuana. And this from 1992.
And when I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. And didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
How did he know he didn't like it if he didn't inhale? I'm sorry, we can't go back to that. But by 2004, Democrat.
How's that?
Oh, it's great. Actually, I was just going to type you. I was typing this to you right now. Can we play? I went to play Kevin's song after the break, and that's the MP3 file that I sent. It's titled "Bomb" on it.
When did you want to play? Number 101 Master Bomb.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and I'll bring like right after we'll go back to Kevin a little bit, and then I'll just announce it. I'll just cue it. I'll just say, like let's listen to the song. I want to talk a little bit more about, how all the different pictures and the people that you put in it and why.
Cool.
Kevin, okay, and what part of your life is this that's on the video? Because it's captivating that way. I like that aspect of the video.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Tara,
Yeah.
I apologize for any and all problems tonight with the technical.
Oh God, don't worry about it. I expected there to be it's gonna happen. You know, it just is. It's part of our technology. You know, I'm not worried about it.
Thank you. I was almost in tears. We wanted to be perfect every time.
I know. You know, I mean, perfect sometimes makes it better. It's just how you deal with it, really.
Well, that's what I learned from working with live radio. Someone once told me the audience loves it when you screw up, and I went, why? They said because that way they get to see exactly how the host handles it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, oh God, I've fallen off the stage before. So.
So anyway, and Sasha will be organizing it. He's like 21 and I'm 58, so you know he automatically just from osmosis has learned this shit.
Ugh. I know it's like it's they've got this. It's like a computer's in their hand along with their baby bottle.
Yeah, no shit. And it's like tonight we had since Windows 8 made us all update to 8.1. I had to call Dell's tech, so we had to rechange all the settings for hearing and microphoning, so I could deal with them. And then I forgot to say when he walked out, set this motherfucker back before you go, shit, and I gotta do a show tonight. I forgot to do that. So I'm pushing all the buttons and trying to plug everything in the way it's supposed to look like, and so I'm really sorry.
Oh, don't even worry about it. I'm really, it's exciting to me, actually. Okay. I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna run with the punches. It gives me an opportunity to maybe make a joke too, or think on my feet. Right. It adds
a. Back real quick.
Okay. Wonderful. We're back with Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. I love that. iHeartRadio. I'm a sap for shit like that. Oops, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said that. Kevin Elliott. Who's here? I've got Robbie Jeanette. He is who's here is my co-host. He is the singer-songwriter for Hollywood Hemptress Hour, and also all these beautiful little musical interludes that you're going to be hearing every week is by this man here, who also has his band Rudy and Mick G Nuts. MCG Nuts. I don't know why I keep doing that, Mick. Like it's fun.
I could go Irish. I could do like an Irish rap hip hop thing. McG Nuts. I'd be on the dollar menu.
Like it's McDonald's or something. MC. Okay, yeah, it's rap. All right. Wow.
It's all good. We have a lot of fun.
I embarrassed myself. Okay. Kevin Elliott is also part of the singer-songwriter performer in Teenage Exorcist. Who are your other bandmates, Kevin?
Okay, we have Evan Osborne on guitar.
Uh-huh.
And Andrew Saxena on bass. He's just fucking great. That was the guy. I'm sorry. This is how hard it is for me to not curse. But yeah, we have Andrew Saxena. He's the guy that we met. I was playing in the band with him when we met at the fundraiser. Tommy Ibarra is the drummer, and I'm on vocals and guitar.
Well, and when you guys were at are the rest of your bandmates? Do they smoke weed too?
Yeah, they all do.
I'm making you out them.
No, I'm gonna out them. We love it. We're all huge supporters of it. It's rarely been a negative thing for any of us. I mean, I can't really think of I can think of one instance in which it has negatively affected my life, and even then it was almost a non-issue.
So tell me about your the pictures that you used in your video. It goes really, really rapid. It's very charming. It really looks like it's an overview of your life and the life of the band, and why did you and the people that you're showing in it. How did that idea come to you, Kevin?
To be honest with you, I used to pull out my computer when we were high, basically, or drunk or whatever, and I put on some creepy Halloween music. That was actually the Velvet Underground. It's this obscure track called The Murder Mystery. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that one, but I play it, and it's so weird, and it was just people talking. It was like Lou Reed and Sterling Morrison and Mo Tucker, and they were just talking all over each other reciting this weird poetry, and it's just three voices at once. And I would scroll back and forth between people's Facebook pictures. Like, it was just this weird party place to do. And so I was just out of ideas, and I needed some sort of visual to go with this song that we had, and I just went through my iPhoto, and I had so many pictures. It was literally, I had a right arrow and a left arrow, and I just hit the button and held it down. I mean, it's laughable, I think, but it's turned out okay, and I think it's something that I enjoy to watch, and some of my friends have commented that they like it, and I mean, the idea is so basic, it really couldn't get any more simple.
Wow. All right,
How
well,
did you record that? Like, you held down the button and let it go, and how did you record this?
Again, rudimentary. I searched in Google. I said, I don't know how to do this, so I searched how do you do a video from your computer screen, and it turned out QuickTime had that. So I was like, okay,
Really?
QuickTime. It was just like, I didn't know anything, so Google was like a big thing. I just searched whenever I don't know how to do something, how to do this, and said, okay, well, you can do that on QuickTime, And I took that and figured out how to put that in an iMovie, and it was all real kind of like. I really didn't know what I was doing the whole time, but it sort of figured out how to get this video on YouTube, and then I thought, I guess, tag all these people in it. I guess they're technically in the video, and that would give them a reason to maybe be interested in watching it. I don't know why anyone would care about my video, so I wanted to involve them in it.
but it's got heart to it, and it's going to play on Heart Radio for the first time. So I'd like to play the song, and this is and the time. And so before we start, because I'm going to give like Casper a moment here. No, why the name Bomb? Oh, you told me that already. Okay, let's just go ahead and play it.
Bomb week.
So it'll start up here in a second.
Are you able to hear it?
Yeah. I'm here.
All right.
I'm smoking a little herb right now.
Oh man. I wish I was. I'm out. All out, my friends.
Can we talk now? Is it, like,
Yes.
okay to talk?
I think so.
Are we off?
I think we're off. Yeah, we're off.
Oh, we're off? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys in the same room?
No.
I'm in LA.
Oh, you're in LA. Okay. Right on.
I'm actually in my studio.
Ah, yeah.
Hanging out in the keyboard room.
Oh my God. You know what? We should just get you to play a few things live this week.
Oh, we'd have to. I want to sound check that to figure out how that would sound.
Okay.
I mean, I guess. Well, I don't know.
I'm here right now.
You are live.
Oh. All right, we're live right now back at Time for Hemp with Terry Joyce Hollywood Hemptress Hour. There's a weird noise going on. Who's doing that? Who's playing jazz? Hello? Can you turn it off? We can hear it. Can you turn the jazz off? I don't know who that is. It's Robbie. Okay, Robbie. We are live. I don't know. Did he leave? Okay. All right. We're back. Am I back?
Yes, you're back. You're back live.
Okay, wonderful.
Connected Robbie G because he kept playing all that noise and wouldn't make it so that the audience could hear you.
Okay, I'm really sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I'll reconnect him here in just
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Normally the board op guy does not step into the show. So, hi people, this is Casper Leach, and I'm running the network, and the technical problems that we've been having tonight are because of me running the board op. And Tara, thank you for letting me be part of your show here for just a minute.
Oh no, thank you for letting me be part of your network. You know, I'm totally not worried about anything strange. Again, we had some jazz in there. It was rather. I kind of felt like I was tripping in a different time zone for a moment.
Yeah, Robbie was playing something on his end, and I don't know what he was playing.
Yeah, it's funny. Kevin just said that my voice sounds nice. Thank you very much, Kevin. I got that in a little bit of a text. Well, that's good to hear. Kevin, that was Kevin Elliott's song that we just listened to a moment ago, before we listened to the great jazz that we weren't expecting. But that was his song "Bomb," and so thank you, Kevin, for being on the show and letting us hear that on the airwaves for the first time. Is Kevin there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, so we're cool. All right, so Kevin, where's your first show gonna be at?
We're playing in our hometown of Riverside at a bar. It's called Pixels Bar downtown, and that'll be on November 2nd. And we're playing with the Naive Thieves, and that'll be at I think 8 p.m.
Oh well, that's great. And where are some places that people can find you at, like your websites and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, we're facebook.com/teenage exorcists, just 2 words together. We're what else? I mean, we're on Bandcamp. If you want to hear the record, it's on Bandcamp. You just type in Teenage Exorcist Bandcamp, and you can find it there. We're
Okay.
sorting out all that stuff with the social media. It's just kind of we're kind of new to it. It's a bit of a it's kind of crazy.
Well, that's you guys. I think you're for being new to it. You're kind of not new to it, because you've been doing it for. You guys probably just are now coming together with your own original stuff. I mean, it was obvious at the Joe Grumbine medical marijuana fundraiser that you guys were good musicians together. I mean, I can tell that. I mean, I'm not an expert, but you were my favorite band there that
I remember
day.
the moment I saw you walk by. I remember the moment I saw you, actually, which was we were in the middle of a song, and you walked up with I don't know who he was. He was there. He was on acid. The guy was on LSD, and I think I spent the whole time trying to buy LSD from him.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to out him. But he was on LSD. He was.
And he was so nice, and he was like, "Yeah, I have LSD," and I was trying to track it down the whole time, but it never panned out. And he was cool, and I remember you guys walking up and just making eye contact with you, and you guys were giving me a good vibe, and that was one of my favorite moments, actually. That was one of my favorite. I'll never forget that. It was just so many hippies in one place. It was very cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of hippies there, huh? I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, in the video, that show, I took pictures, actually, because I just don't. I didn't care. I wanted pictures of that. So while I was playing, I just stopped playing the guitar and took some pictures from the stage, and that's actually on the video too.
Yeah, I saw. I have like I think I did see the frame. I saw the little that it's like it's more than one picture of that day. I can see it in the
Yeah.
video, which reminds me of it. So yeah, that was a really fun day. I really enjoyed watching the different bands. I think they had like a joint that everybody was going to smoke together that had all these different stuff in it, and I think it might have even had like mushrooms in it.
Wow.
Can you smoke mushrooms?
I don't know. I might be wrong about that. Maybe it was hash.
I think you
I mean, nowadays.
I think you can, but I don't think that's necessarily the best way to take it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there was something that was different about it, and I missed it though. I missed that joint. I didn't get that puff, but maybe I didn't need it. I always think that whenever something comes to you, then it's meant to come to you, and when it doesn't come to you, then you're just perfectly fine the way you are.
Right.
Yeah. So, how did you get hooked up with that gig?
I don't know. That was through my buddy Andrew, the bass player in my band. He knew somebody. I really don't know. It was like somebody that he met while working at Starbucks. Some guy was coming into Starbucks and he said, "We got this gig here. Come out to this, botanical gardens. Come play." And he just called me up. And I just showed up, man. I was just amazed. I got out of my Toyota Matrix, which I've crashed since then, but I got out and it was just. I looked around. And I was like, "This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I want to be." It was very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of people showed up for it. There were like a few vendors that were there. It was really an event. There was like a booth where you can get like marijuana cookies, and there was like Henry Hemp. I don't know if anybody knows who Henry Hemp is, but I'm pretty sure if you know about marijuana and this movement, then you're probably aware of who Henry Hemp is. He's created a comic book character. I got a story about Henry Hemp. And I know that hopefully I can like tell a little bit of it before the break happens again, because I know it's going to happen. But Henry Hemp and I worked on a movie called Dirty Jokes, the movie. That Vic Dunlap, the late great Vic Dunlap, who's passed away a couple of years ago, did. And we met each other, and he really loved marijuana. We had and I was getting really involved. And I was working on a medical marijuana float for the Patient Advocacy Network, which you can check that out at CannabisSavesLives.com. I'm now on the board of directors for them. But at this time, we created this medical marijuana float for the Gay Pride Parade. I think we're the first medical marijuana float to go down. And it was the day before, and DeJay calls me up. She goes, "Terry, where are your people?" And we got to put the float together, and I had to pick up the generator. And she goes, and I go, "Well, what about the guy who designed the pieces that go on the float?" And he goes, "Oh, he's out of town, so you're gonna need to do it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, why didn't I take woodshop and drama?" I was like freaking out over it. And I had to ask a bunch of people to do it with me, or to help me out. And Magic, who's Henry Hemp, was the person who answered the phone and said yes. And he came down and was so inspired by what was going on with medical marijuana that he wanted to be in the parade. And a friend of mine was supposed to create these marijuana leaf heads, and he goes, well, his other friend who's going to wear the other marijuana leaf head and carry the banner couldn't make it. And so like about 3 o'clock in the morning, he's cutting out this marijuana leaf, and it didn't fit his head right. So I go, well, give it to Magic. I go, he'll do something with it. And he did. He became Henry Hemp with it. So yeah, that's the story of Henry Hemp. He actually then went down Hollywood Boulevard with all the other superhero characters and walked the strip, and people went crazy and just gave him money. And I remember him calling me up. And he goes, "I can't believe it. I was making money just wearing this, thing." And so he created this Henry Hemp. And he's kind of, a legend now. I mean, like, he's got a mural in LA at an art gallery or something like that has him as Henry Hemp. I mean, like, it's just like it exploded into something that we never expected.
Wow.
Yeah. So Henry Hemp was at, Joe Grumbine's event. There were a lot of different activists that were there. There's this group called the Human Solution, and they're a group that shows up everywhere for court support for people that are having, for medical marijuana. Because in the trials, they're really very, very deviant. They do whatever they can to like stack their side of defense and witnesses, and they court support means that you show up, and either you see your court lie to you, or you're at least there to hold them accountable.
Well, yeah. I mean, it amazes me that people put their lives into doing that for other people. I mean, it's the way the laws have been. Obviously, there's a lot of unfair situations, and hopefully that'll be rectified in the future as things shake out with the legalization and decriminalization movements. But the fact that there are people who will go out and spend their lives trying to help people who are in these unfortunate cases, who are busted for silly reasons, a seed in Texas or whatever.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing.
it is a beautiful thing. I mean, there are definitely a lot of people that are caught up in the system, and they did do things by state guidelines. And Robbie, you've done like a lot of like fundraisers with me that DeJay and I did. And I really, almost every single marijuana theme show that I did for a fundraiser, or for awareness, Robbie, you always said yes, and I really appreciate that. I love the one that you did when my mom was in the audience, and then you like had this song about having sex with my mom, and my mom was like,
I'm sorry, I can only write from truthful things that actually happened. So I am your father.
I mean, my mom was like going, well, why is he saying this to me? Like, I go, Mom, it's a joke.
I figured somebody is your mother. They must have a sense of humor, because there's no way that somebody's going to hang out with you for more than 10 minutes, let alone a lifetime, without dealing with a sense of humor.
Oh,
You have to have a sense of humor.
Well, that's true. She does have a very funny sense of humor, and my parents, being that I'm their daughter, I really want to say thank you for putting up with me. I've had people tell me, they go, your parents must be really liberal. I'm going, yeah, they're pretty liberal. I mean, they weren't hippies though. I mean, like I asked my dad. I go, Dad, did you go to Woodstock? And he'd be like, you mean the Peanuts character? I'm like, no. Yeah, and, it's Woodstock. There was like Jimi Hendrix and Summer of Love, and my dad was like, your mom and I had jobs. We were serious people. I'm like, wow, he needs to smoke some weed.
They missed it. Yeah, they missed it, and that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay.
Caught up for them.
That is okay, but you know what? My mom did vote for medical marijuana in California, and we were the first state to legalize it for medical marijuana. And I remember, like, I didn't really vote all that much. I'm gonna admit it right now. I didn't, and because I was irresponsible. And I had one time where I had like voted pin, and it was the John Kerry, Jim Kerry never ran for president. The John Kerry election, and medical marijuana was on the ballot that year. And I called my mom up and I go, Mom, I voted. She goes, oh my God, you pay your taxes and you voted. You're a big girl now. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Mom. And I go, I voted for medical marijuana, and my mom goes, I did too. And I said, I think it's a medicine, and she says, I do too. And I go, and I remember saying, I don't know why it's not legal right now. And even though my mom, like, she smoked it like a couple of times. Here's my mom. Well,
I need to jump in here. I need to jump in here.
Yeah.
I do not know what the hell I did, but whatever it was I did on the last break, nobody's been able to hear anything since the last break.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm just going to have to cancel the show tonight and start tomorrow night, same time with Sasha doing this right, because I can't get these goddamn things fucking right. I've been trying every goddamn thing, and I'm sorry, Tara.
No, don't worry about it. We'll be back tomorrow. Did we get to hear Kevin's song?
I hope so. Well, we'll just
we did
the whole show tomorrow night all over.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, can you come back, Kevin?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, my buddy said he heard that song, so he said it cut off after the song, like right after it.
Alright, then there was something that I did. All of a sudden, I noticed that nothing was working, and I went, what the fuck did I do? Goddamn, Casper.
Okay, don't worry about it. I mean, it's gonna be fine. We'll just do it. We'll do this. We'll recap, Kevin. I'll just bring you back for the beginning part of tomorrow. And
like you said, it wasn't meant to be, man. It didn't happen. It was meant to go down tomorrow, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Alright, well then I guess you all kind of plan on it being tomorrow anyway. Alright, let your second hour guests know what happened, and thank you for forgiving me for the technical problems. And we'll have a hit show tomorrow night.
Absolutely. No, this is all. We're all in process right now. You guys, thank you very much.
Oh, I love you. Did you check out your website, your bio page?
You know, I will right now. I will.
There it is. Check that out.